Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to quickly make a parametric tower. So the form is inspired by, Voronoi shapes and guest architecture forms that we see in the works of Zaha Hadid and Evo skyscraper competitions. And if anything, this, tutorial exercise is a fun way to begin to generate some pretty interesting organic architectural forms that's not really orthogonal but quite dynamic and quite playful. So we can begin by creating a box here that's going to be the premise for a massing that can be the structural scheme for a parametric skyscraper. What we'll begin to do next is begin to deform this massing that we've just done so it becomes a little bit more organic, a little bit less orthogonal, and just to begin to get some interesting, formal massing. So what we're gonna do first is I'm just gonna taper it. So I'm just gonna thin the top off so we can look more like a tower. The next modifier that I'm gonna add to it is the twist tool. Make it a little bit more dynamic and less rigid. So I'm just gonna twist it as such. Now that I'm pretty happy with this form, I'm gonna add an edit poly. I'm then gonna go down in the edit poly selection tool and select the edge of this tower. And then if we scroll down, we can go to the create shape, and we're going to click on the box right next to create shape, which is the create shape settings. You can normally choose the two different shape types between smooth and linear, and in this case I'm going to go with the smooth. And then now that we've got the smooth, I'm just going to delete the polygon. So what we've got now is basically a network of splines over here. And then what we can do here is we can actually regenerate a volume using these network of splines. So what we do here is that we first just just delete our edit poly. Now we're gonna choose this editable spline, and we're just gonna go to surface. So now we were able to recreate a volume, except for the tessellation and the way that the massing is divided is a little bit different. As you can see, it's got a little bit more smoother iterations. But we still want to make the tessellations and the divisions within this massing a little bit more smooth. So I'm just going to add another modifier, which is optimize. And then I'll add an edit poly, and I'll just bring that down to here. And now you could see that the divisions of the tessellation of these geometry is beginning to be quite more interesting actually. And then with under the optimize modifier list, you can begin to play around with the face threshold, in which it increases and decreases the tessellations upon the surface as you choose. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to decrease the divisions, so we just get less tessellated faces, and by doing so it begins to express the individual geometries on the form much better and such. Now that I'm happy with this, I'm just going to add another edit poly. And then with the edit poly, I'm going to select our edge. I'm now going to go down to the bevel. Now I'm going to click on the settings here for the bevel, And with the bevel, we can choose between, the group, the local normals, and by polygon. What I'm going to choose is by polygons. So we're actually selecting the individual faces on each one of these polygons. And then we're just going to select the height, so we're just going to give, I guess, these lines a little bit of a piping. And I'll just increase that just a little bit more. And then now, I can delete the polygon, so I'm left with, I guess, this the structural system of the tower that we originally started with. So now I'm going to add another edit poly to this. And then I'm just going to add a mesh smooth. And now when we add the mesh smooth, you can begin to see that it begins to generate some pretty interesting forms over here that begins to resemble kind of like a Voronoi shapes and Voronoi forms, which begins to look quite parametric and quite organic. We can further make this much more smoother and more organic by playing around with the iterations and the smoothness levels over here. So I'm just going to increase the iterations by increasing its value. So you can see it's getting more smooth here. And if I turn the edge faces off, you can see this result over here. And yeah, I think what we can take from this is that it becomes a really interesting starting point to generate some interesting organic and parametric looking architectural forms that could lead to skyscrapers or whatnot. So I guess this tutorial is quite inspired by all the parametric works that we've seen in Evolo competitions and the works of Zaha Hadid, and hope you've enjoyed this video, and hope it was some help, and we'll catch you soon. Thanks.